day, everyone, and thank you so much for attending the St. Lucie County Public Schools Speakers Bureau. You are appreciated, and we're glad you had a chance to and an opportunity to see this session. For those of you who don't know what the Speakers Bureau is about, and you've just tuned on for the first time, we are here to inspire, encourage, and motivate our children and community, the parents, the grandparents, the entire community, to help you realize that you can overcome whatever obstacles you may have in your way. You can overcome. And so we do that by bringing speakers on in our community right here who have had similar challenges and have been able to overcome. And now they're doing wonderful things to help others and to inspire and to encourage. And so today we have a very special speaker. He was a Teacher of the Year for 2022-23, and his name is Mr. Trevor Sparacio. He is a 7th grade civics teacher, and as I said before, he became Teacher of the Year last year. He currently works at Oak Hammock Middle School, and at this time we want to introduce him to the community. Can I call you Trevor?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, well Trevor, thank you so much for coming to the Speakers Bureau. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me and giving me this opportunity.
Yes, sir. Tell us more about your responsibilities and your work in the district.
Sure. So I have been in St. Lucie Public Schools now for about 6 years. I am a 7th grade civics teacher at Oak Hammock K-8. I'm also the Raptors team leader as well.
Tell us, what is the Raptors team leader?
Sure, absolutely. So our middle school is broken up into separate pods where kind of how we split our kids up, and I kind of oversee the students and make sure our school improvement plan and our goals for the district are being implemented for our students and that our staff are following through with that as well.
Great, okay. Any other responsibilities?
Oh man, I'm over PTO. I'm a secretary on PTO. I am a secretary on the faculty council as well as the school advisory council. I have attended school board meetings as well. I try to be involved as much as I can because I really do love this school district and I really do love Oak Hammock K-8. I'm also involved in the safety committee, our PBIS, which is Positive Behavior Intervention Supports. I help with the color run. Any way I can help students socially, emotionally, and academically, I do my best to get involved.
Wonderful. Give us your educational background.
Sure. So I went to, I originally grew up in Long Island, New York. I went to Nassau Community College for my associates in education. I then went to SUNY Old Westbury and got my bachelor's in childhood education and special education. I last year went to Lynn University and got my master's degree in ed leadership.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, and I'm actually enrolled in my doctorate program at Lynn University as well for educational leadership and curriculum design.
Wow, you're a powerhouse.
I try.
Okay, so can you give us a little bit about your upbringing and your family and current family as well?
Sure, absolutely. So I was born in 1993. I'm 30 years old. Okay. I grew up in Long Island for most of my life. I went to public school. I went to Fork Lane Elementary School and then to Hicksville Middle School and on to Hicksville High School. My father works for Marvel as an illustrator, and he also works at Lynn University as an art professor. My mother was an art teacher originally. She kind of changed her her course in her life when I was diagnosed with autism. At the age of 2, she was a teacher assistant at a school called the Genesis School for Children with Autism. And then she kind of worked her way up the ladder and became a teacher, a principal, a director, and now she works with other school districts on Long Island to advocate for individuals on the autism spectrum. And my brother who is about 4.5 years older than me. He is actually currently a teacher here in St. Lucie County as well.
Okay.
He teaches at Fair Lawn Elementary School as a ESE support facilitator.
He's your older brother.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, so you mentioned autism. And for those of you who are not aware, this month, the month of April, is Autism Month. And tell us, Trevor, what was that like growing up with autism? I mean, you've accomplished such incredible things, and you're still, you're doing so much to help the community, but it had to be a challenge growing up with autism.
Oh, it was absolutely a challenge. And even as an adult, sometimes people look at me, and there's still challenges that I face, even in today. So, like I said, at the age of 2, I was diagnosed with what was formerly known as Asperger's syndrome. The new DSM, which is the Diagnostic Statistic Manual, kind of moved away from those titles and have this umbrella term of autism spectrum disorders.
Yes.
And I went to a ABA school, which is Applied Behavior Analysis. My mom got me supports and interventions right away. Occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, counseling, early intervention she knew was key for me to be successful in life. I was nonverbal till 4, and now the joke in my family is I make up for lost time. But yeah, and I've had amazing supports in public school. I've been in collaborative education settings with a gen ed teacher and a special education teacher in New York. I was really bullied throughout elementary, middle, and high school by a lot of students, unfortunately. So I really empathize with our exceptional education population. And it just, it still hits home when I see students being bullied or teased for not even just having a disability, but any type of difference or uniqueness within them.
So we definitely have children now that's in our district with autism on the spectrum in different places, and we have parents out there. Can you, that need to know what to do, and your story already has influenced and have helped a lot of people understand early intervention and just the community getting that support that's necessary, because the parents can't do it all, and the child doesn't need to just be seeing a doctor, but they need a whole variety of support system.
And I can say even here in St. Lucie County, as an adult on the autism spectrum, there are things that, when I first moved down here, it was a big transition for me. And for individuals with autism, change for anybody can be a lot, but for an individual with autism that's very used to the structure and routine, it's a lot. And when I started at OCAMIC, I was under Mrs. Brooke Wigington, Miss Jacqueline Lee, and Mrs. Thomas Dickey, and they really helped me transition to the state of Florida, the Florida education system, our middle school, because I taught at an alternative high school in New York for 2 years. So coming down and teaching 7th grade was a whole different ballgame for me, especially in a different state with different curriculum and different regulations and policies.
And so you've had that support as well as an adult. You mentioned OCAMIC and Principal Lee and that team, and I've got an opportunity to really be in that school more so than in others at this time. And what I love about OCAMIC is all of the different programs and classes that they have there. Can you share a little bit about, I know myself, I help with the deaf classes, but you told me, there's students that are blind, and tell us more about the student population there.
So what I love about OCAMIC, and just like you said, Dr. Mills, and just even in St. Lucie County in general, is the diverse student population that we have. Yes. I work with many exceptionalities this year. I have a student that's visually impaired. I have 3 students that are also deaf and hard of hearing. I have students on the autism spectrum, learning disabilities, and I feel like I can really emphasize and use my own challenges in the past to help enhance my teaching and their learning experiences.
Yes, and you did mention about being bullied and how that helped to make you more sensitive even to others. And one thing that I noticed being at Oak-Hammock is that as we walk through the halls with the children in the class that I work with, the other children are being taught how to respect and how to care and how to have compassion and empathy, and I can see it as they walk through the halls. They'll smile at the kids. I mean, a nice greeting smile, you know, and oh, you know, because I work with the little babies, too, so they're like, oh, you know, the other kids as they're going through the hallways. And so tell us more about that. What is going on there? It's a special community there.
Yeah, I think it's really important, and I'm very transparent with my students. I tell them that I'm on the autism spectrum and that not, you know, sometimes what you say, and I hear students, and then I make it a teachable moment, and I'm like, you know, I'm on the autism spectrum, and you might have a family member or a friend or somebody with some sort of exceptionality or difference as well. And I think just having that conversation with students and being open and transparent and building those connections, it really does help the school community, because I can say, within my little pod, my team, with all the different exceptionalities, I have not heard anybody really bully or tease or make fun of anybody for those exceptionalities.
Wow, that we've come a long way.
Yeah.
Because at one point that, like you said, children could make other children's lives miserable, and the bullying should never be. That we should cut that off from the root, so that every child can feel safe and comfortable in their environment.
And you know, that's one of Dr. Prince's main goals, to make a safe and caring school system for all our students. And I'm a strong believer in that pillar. I'm a strong believer in all the pillars, but especially that one too, because without that one, the others aren't going to fall in line.
So true, so true. I've had my own share of experience with bullying back in school, so I get that, to be able to have safe adults around that will respond and that are looking to make sure that it's safe for every child, you know, and you do have to hit it right at the root. You have to hit it in the beginning. The earlier, the better.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to ask you this question. You've had a lot of support. You've already shared that with us. Not only as a child, but even in the district. You're young, you're 30, you're a young adult, you know, accomplishing great things. And you mentioned a little bit about some of the people in your lives. Who and what are you most thankful for?
I'm thankful for, like you said, the support system I have. I have amazing administrators here at Oak-Hammock. I have an amazing family. I have amazing friends and colleagues that really took the time to understand, because I think sometimes, even as educators, we forget, like, their disability doesn't end when they graduate high school. That it does, you know, we do have to help adults.
Preparing them for life.
Right. And, you know, I'm very lucky and blessed that people are very empathetic at my school, because it could be very different, unfortunately.
Yes, yes. I'm thinking about a young man, little thing. He's only like 3 years old, but he has this person, and he's deaf, but he has this personality that just exuberates, and he's a teacher at heart. He's an educator already. I can see that in him, and with the right support, he can be a great educator. So I'm very thankful for the people that are willing to reach out and care for others, regardless of who that other may be, and that are there to help support. And you're a really great story about it. Now, a teacher, can you think of any teacher in your life? And I want you to, I know you could say, it's so many, we have so many,
It's the
you know,
truth.
but I want to hear about one teacher that made a difference out of all of those that made a difference.
Now, I'm going to ask from
And
my child.
why?
From my child. No, not why, but
No,
from my...
no, I said, I want to ask what teacher and why did they make a difference? Why do you say they made that difference?
Okay. Can I pick one from my childhood and one from my
Yes.
adults?
Oh, I would love it. Yes.
So from my childhood, Mrs. Nancy Ruisi, who was my 4th grade teacher, I had a lot of teachers at that time that, you know, I didn't always have amazing teachers. I had some teachers that didn't understand me or didn't get it.
Okay.
And when I got to her, she fostered a love of learning for me with math and science and social
What grade?
studies. This is fourth grade.
Fourth grade,
And because I didn't like going to school. I was bullied. I didn't want to engage in learning. I got sad faces when I failed a test, so I just kind of wanted to give up. But this woman really saw something in me that I didn't. And currently, as I go to college for my doctorate degree, Dr. Kathy Weigel, who is the Dean of the College of Education, reminds me so much of Mrs. Ruisi, and it really resonates with me. Like, even as an adult going back to school, I'm like, oh, am I going to get through this dissertation? Am I going to get through
we
this?
always ask those questions.
And she's such an amazing person inside and out. She's a beautiful soul, and she's really rekindled my light for education and learning for me, because we truly are lifelong learners, and she really put that fire back in me.
Great, great, great. I also believe that we're lifelong learners, and you're showing that to be the case. And for those who may feel as if they can't do it, we know that with hard work and determination, with your story, and even with my story, it took hard work, it took determination, it took knowing or believing who I was, in spite of what others said I was, and being determined to be successful for my own life. And I started back late in college. I was already had 3 children, married, and was in my early 30s. And I had the same questions. Could I do this? I mean, my background is a high school equivalency.
Right.
Because of my environment and my situation that I grew up in. And can I even get through this first class? But with determination and making that decision that I'm going to do my best, I was able to go all the way up to a doctorate. And it's incredible, and that what we have inside of us, that if we tap into that and we believe in ourselves and be the best we can be. I mean, I have story after story.
Right.
Doing the Speakers Bureau especially, where others labeled or looked, or even with their own lives, they didn't believe in themselves. And once it kicked in, they were able to move on in life and be very successful in what they do.
And I think having somebody, like, sometimes I don't see it in myself. And I had people like Mrs. Galloway and Miss Woolard. They saw that in me. And that kind of helped me reach that inside me as well, when I have others going, you can do it, you got this. You have what they can't teach.
So one of your secrets, shall I say, of success is that you surrounded yourself with the right people.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm still learning, just like you, to kind of not worry about what other people are thinking, because I was a big people pleaser, and I think I'm very more relaxed and calm, not trying to please and make everybody happy, unfortunately, because you can't.
You cannot do it. No. Do you believe in second chances?
Absolutely, I do. You know, we're human, we make mistakes. I've made mistakes as an individual, as a teacher, and I think we learn and grow from those mistakes.
Yes.
And without the challenges and mistakes that I've made, I wouldn't be sitting here speaking with you today on the Speakers Bureau.
True. How did you push through your worst times? You talk about being teased as a child. You talked about the challenges of autism. And what did you do to push through? I mean, you had those encouraging people, we hear that, but you can have encouraging people all around you and not take heed to that. Or tell us, how did you push through your worst times?
You know, sometimes I had to stop and reflect and just kind of think, like, can I get through this? Can I make it? Can I make a difference? And, you know, honestly, removing myself from, unfortunately, the public school system and going to an alternative high school myself. I've had a much smaller class size. It was a much smaller school where I could get the support and attention and love that I needed at that time. And I think by getting that love and support from those teachers and the students and everybody, You know, I know you say it's hard for positive people, but honestly, that's what really did it for me. I mean, I know using that grit and perseverance also helps too, but honestly, it really is the people that I surround myself with and getting their perspective. Like if I'm not sure of something, I'll ask now, like, hey guys, what do you think of whatever, this situation?
You know, I'm thinking about in my own personal family, I have a grandson that just graduated last year, and he's now at Jupiter, at the FAU Jupiter Honors College there.
Awesome.
And I'm reflecting back on him because he was born with serious heart issues and lung. He had 2 open heart surgeries before he turned 3. So, you know, and he has to be very careful. He can't play sports. He can't, you know, he can't exert himself with so much. And you never would know it to look at him. But yet he's got all of these conditions. And when COVID came and we had to go to online education, first of all, online education, he completely flunked out. Where he has a brother who was wonderful online, you know, A student, but he completely flunked out, and we had to take him out of the school, the public school, for one thing because of his health, because when we got back into school, he was part of a very large, one of our very large high schools. Right. And we just didn't feel safe as a family putting him back in there because if he catches a cold, for him it turns pneumonia. Right. You know, it's real serious. So we put him in a smaller environment and took him out. And he has flourished. I mean, I'll tell you, he's in the honors college now.
Incredible.
It is. It's amazing. And what it was exactly what you said. He, as an individual, got the support he needed at the time he needed that support. And oh my gosh, he just absolutely loved his teachers, and he got the attention he needed. Very small classroom. In fact, there was 4 of them in his class. Yeah. But it made a tremendous difference for his life the time he needed it. And now this college is only a couple of thousand students at this college. So that is helping him as well.
And that's very similar to my college too. And just hearing you reflect back on COVID, I remember I was given the option, Trev, do you want to teach virtual or do you want to teach in person? This was during the 2021 school year where we had the My School and the traditional setting. And I wanted to go back to the traditional setting. I wanted to make an impact in the lives of students because you can't do that over a computer screen. And I felt that, especially with the social disconnect we had for months, even for me, it affected me as a teacher. And I couldn't even imagine for students as well.
What's your hobbies?
What's my hobbies?
Yes.
I do martial arts. I've trained since I was 5. That was kind of my niche. I trained in the White Tiger Kempo Martial Arts Organization, Long Island, and actually that's where I found my love of teaching, was teaching the martial arts to all different ages. And I really, really loved it. It still is a passion of mine today. Honestly, I don't really have much time to do a lot of things with schooling and teaching. Your passion, but I do love researching now. Doing my dissertation and asking questions, asking why is this, or how is this? It really has opened my mind a lot more to learning new things, and I think that's really cool.
Well, I've got a question here that I wanted to ask you that I didn't have circled, so hopefully I'm not catching you off guard.
No, you're good.
Okay. What is the one thing that people always misunderstood about you?
I think it still is. I think people just look at me and they go, I don't know how he has autism, or he doesn't have autism, he's fine. And I think, we don't know everybody's story, and sometimes we don't understand. I think us learning about people and understanding each other and supporting each other will help everybody be better people.
Yes, I like that. I like that answer. What advice would you give someone that's going into leadership position for the first time?
I believe in servant leadership. I believe in making sure people underneath me, I'm not really a lead, I'm a team leader, but I'm not.
Yeah, you're a leader.
I appreciate that, but I don't see
At
myself.
30 years old, doing what you're doing, you are a leader.
So I believe in servant leadership then. I really do believe in making sure individuals are happy, individuals need what they need, if they need something, because when you have happy teachers, happy students, happy colleagues, I believe it will help the school culture, the school climate, and it changes the whole educational experience for our students and teachers.
Wonderful answer. Often have found myself saying, in regards to giving back and being that teacher that you're talking about, and caring about children. We often say it's all about children. And my thing is, if it's all about children, you're going to take care of those that work with children.
Yes, ma'am.
Because if they're happy, the children will be happy. If they're miserable, what's going to happen to the children?
And I look at it exactly what you said. I look at it as a giant pyramid or a ripple effect, because every life touches another life, and I really do believe in servant leadership.
I love that. I love that term, servant leadership. Doing it to serve others, doing it to really try to help others. You have answered your question so wonderfully. It's, I want to make sure we have any time left. We do. We have a couple of minutes left. I want you to talk about your best childhood memory, if you could share something about that.
Sure. My best childhood memory would be obtaining my black belt, my first degree black belt, because that's something that not a lot of people were able to do. And people put, oh, he can't do it. Oh, he'd be lucky if he graduated high school. And then me kind of proving other people wrong is a good fuel for me. Me getting my associates, my bachelor's.
That is a good feel. It's a good feel for all of us.
Exactly. My master's and eventually my doctorate. I had a professor that said I would never be a teacher. She goes, you're lucky if you would be a teacher in my college program. And when I graduated, I shook her hand and I said, thank you very much. I appreciate all the support you and opportunities you have given me. And I did it with a big smile.
Wow, yeah.
And now I'm here in the wonderful destination county of St. Lucie County, won Teacher of the Year, and I'm doing all these incredible things for our students and communities and for administration as well.
I really love that about proving people wrong.
Yes, ma'am.
Because sometimes you get the worst words that go at you, and what you have to do is not believe those words. Instead say, I will prove otherwise.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's a motivation all by itself.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you.
I mean, you said some stuff today that got me rolling and thinking, and we could have had a conversation much longer than this. We only have 30 minutes, but I appreciate your desire to be here and your willingness to be here.
No, thank you so much for having me. And hearing all the other speakers on the Speaker Bureau, it's really impactful. It's such an amazing program you're running. And so I appreciate you and everything you do for our schools and community.
Thank you. Well, can we have you back at any time?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much. And if you know anyone else that may desire also to come on the Speakers Bureau that's got a great story like yours, let us know. And thank you also for tuning in today. I hope that we said something. I know Mr. Trevor has said so much that served me, and I hope he served you as well. Thank you again for attending and being a part of the Speakers Bureau. Have a great day and enjoy life.